Greetings and welcome to another Lessons with Odin. It's been a while, hasn't it? I have been incredibly busy, but I thought since I was doing some gifty thingies, I would share with you a quickie earring pattern that I have thrown together, and this is what I will be showing you guys how to make. This is utilizing a lovely SS39 Cabochon rhinestone thing, and it's a really cute design. You could even use it as a ring if you want to, and it uses very few beads, so if you have those last minute people, use this with quite a few things in your stash. And if you don't have like an SS39, these are 8mm, so you can use something like a Toho cabochon, anything that's got round and has 2 holes in it, or actually no holes at all. You don't even need any holes, just something that's 8mm and that is generally flat. But you can probably make do with a cabochon as well. So, experiment, see what you got, but yes, this is what we're going to be making. Very quick to throw together. So for this project, you will need, as mentioned previously, 2 SS39 Rivolis, or some sort of 8mm flat rhinestones. Something 8mm and round generally should get you where you need to be. 8 6mm beads. I'm using glass pearls. You can also even experiment with rondelles. That should work too if that's what you got in your stash. Just generally round shaped things. For 4mm or 3mm beads, doesn't really matter what shape you want to use. I'm using fire polish. I used bicones here. I use both of these in 4mm. If you want to use 3mm, you just adjust the amount of seed beads you will be using there. 8 true 2mm beads, fire polish beads. Anything in 2mm will do you good. You can use like the 2.5mm Swarocski bicones if you have that. You can use delica beads even. You may or may not need to adjust the size or the amount of beads you add in the initial ring, but generally just use what you got, experiment, and if it doesn't work, just tear it out. 2 dangly parts. I'm going to be using these glass drops. Here I've used a large faceted teardrop that goes lengthwise instead of these ones. These ones are top drilled, so they go this way. I'll just talk over doing both methods because it's not really that complicated. You will need size 15 seed beads and size 11 seed beads. 2 ear wires unless you're doing it like a ring or something. That would work too. But generally, if you want to hang it on your ears, you should probably have something to hang it with. And of course, your needle and thread. Smaller is better when it comes to the needle. I usually use something heavyweight when it comes to my thread, because I'm paranoid. Let us get started! Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is work on the bezel for our little SS39s. And we're going to start off by adding on 1 size 15, 1 11/0, 1 size 15, 1 2mm. We're going to add that 4 times, so we have 4 sets in total. Just like that, we have 4 of each wrapped around a 15/0 seed bead. Gonna pull that down, leaving a small tail. We're not really gonna use it, just enough so that we can get rid of it later. Then I'm gonna pass back through all of these beads once more so that we form a loop. Like this. Then I'm going to take my tail end and my working thread and tie an overhand knot. I'm going to then pass through the next size 15 and size 11 seed beads so that I can start my next row of my bezel. I'm going to add 3 size 15 seed beads and then pass back through the size 11 seed beads so that we form a picot on top. Just like that. Then I'm going to move down through a size 15 and the next 2mm bead. Then I'm going to add 4 size 15 seed beads and pass back through the 2mm bead. So this is kind of a modified right angle weave, so to speak, so we're going to end up with 2 at the top that is right across from the 2mm on the other side. We're going to continue this pattern. I'm going to pass through the next size 15 and into the next size 11. And repeat. So I'll add 3 more size 15 seed beads, pass back through the size 11 bead to form another picot, and repeat. So I'm going to go down the 15 through the 2mm, add 4, down the 15 to the 11, add 3, and go all the way around until you've completed the set. And that is what we end up with. So what I'm going to do now is set up for the next row. I'm going to pass up through one size 15 and then through two of them, because this one is across the way from a 2mm bead. So then I'm going to add one size 11 seed bead and pass through the top size 15 seed bead that is right across the way on our round. I'm going to add one more and then pass through the top two across the way, because this one is underneath, or on top of, a 2mm bead. And we're going to repeat in that manner all the way around until we've completed the set. So next up I'll add an 11, go through 1, add 11, go through 2, and all the way around. From here you might also want to hold in your rhinestone color side down, because this row is going to start cinching together on top of it. And that is what we should end up with. You're going to want to reinforce by passing through those beads once more. Next, you're going to want to end up coming out of a size 11 seed bead. I'm going to add one size 15 seed bead and pass through to the next size 11 seed bead on the round. You're going to repeat that all the way around until you've completed the set. Then, you're going to reinforce once more, end your threads, and then set it aside. You can also do the other one as well. And that is what you should end up with. Now I do want to mention, when you're ending your threads, try to avoid sticking knots inside the size 11 beads on the back, because this is what we're going to do to anchor it. That's what we're going to use to anchor it to the rest of the earring. So, if you want a little bit less of a headache, don't put knots inside the 11-ohs. So on to the main earring. So on my needle, I have 4 sets of one 6mm and one size 11 seed beads. So we're going to basically add 8 beads total in this pattern. We're going to pull it all the way down, leaving a small tail. Again, we're not really going to use it. Then we're going to pass back through them once more to form a loop. Like that, and then we're going to take our tail end and our working thread and tie another overhand knot. Then I'm going to pass through one of the 6mm beads so that I end up right through it. Then I'm going to add 3 size 15 seed beads, 1 size 11 bead, and just pass that down my needle. I'm going to then take my little piece, I'm going to pick out one of these size 11 seed beads on the back, and I'm going to slide my needle through that bead. I'm going to pull it down so that we end up kind of attached to our little assembly here. I'm going to then add 1 size 11, 3 size 15s, and then pass through the opposite side of the 6mm bead we started from. And that is what we end up with. We kind of give the whole assembly a little bit of a necklace by itself. I'm going to reinforce by passing through these beads once more. Then from here, I'm just going to move to the next 6mm bead by passing through the size 11 to get there. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I have anchored the center piece on all 4 beads. So when I'm anchoring my next set, you'll notice that I have a size 11 seed bead that's right on top of the 6mm bead. That is the one you're going to want to use, not the ones that are off to the side. The one directly in the center. And that is what you should end up with. You have this little crown motif thing. All that's left is to add our anchor point so that we can add some dangly parts and our little ear hangy bit. So my thread is currently coming out of a 6mm bead. I'm going to add 4 size 15s, 1 4mm or 3mm, and 4 size 15s. Though, once again, keep in mind if you use a 3mm, you might want to use one more bead. If not, we're going to pass back through that same 6mm bead to add a little picot on top of that. Then we're going to reinforce that once more. Then I'm going to move up to the 4mm bead. I'm going to add 3 size 15s, 1 size 11, 3 size 15s, and pass back through the 4mm bead to form a wrapping on top of that. Reinforce once more. Then once you've done that, you're going to move up to the size 11 seed bead at the top. I'm going to add 5 size 15 seed beads and pass back through the size 11 at the point. Then reinforce and move all the way back down. I'm going to then move all the way around to the opposite side and repeat only up to the first 2 steps. So, what I mean by that is, on the opposite side of your earring, you're going to want the 4mm segment, and then you're going to want the size 11 segment. And you're going to stop there, because we're going to do something a little bit different to add our dangly parts. Alright, so this is what I've got for my opposite side. I've got the 4mm and the size 11 seed bead. I have added on 2 size 15s, size 11, my dangly drop, size 11, 2 size 15s. Then I'm just going to pass back through that size 11, so that it attaches there. Then I'm going to reinforce and end my threads. Now that's for a top drill bead. For a through drill, I don't know what that terminology is called, horizontal drilled, it's a bead, not a drop. So what I did is I added 1 size 15, 1 size 11, my drop bead, 1 size 11. Then I passed immediately back through the drop bead and through the size 11 at the top, added a size 15, and then went back through the size 11 right at the earring. Reinforced, added everything else. So once you've finished doing both earrings, go ahead and attach your ear wire through that hole in the top, and you will be finished. So with only a minuscule amount of luck, you will have a finished pair of earrings. Make them, throw them together pretty quickly for some last minute gifts, or some gifts that you are planning on if you are watching this in the future. Or just make them for yourself because they're really freaking adorable. Again, you can do the similar technique to this. You can use these end bits to start a ring band instead of a pair of earrings, if that is more your jam. Because I think that'd be a very cute, yet tall ring, and I don't know. I think that would be fun. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know. If you make them yourself, please share with me some pictures at our Facebook group, Creations from Lessons with Odin. There will be links down below because I would really love to see what color combinations you guys come up with. And be creative with it. You can even make more of these and put them as like a bracelet. This little thing would be cute by itself, just the top section. If you didn't do any more of the embellished work, you just connected a bunch together in a chain. That would be tedious as fuck, but it would be cool at the end result. So, let me know what you did. Show me your gifts that you've made for people I'd love to see. We're an awesome community and stuff. And I think that will do it from me. Be sure to check out my other jewelry shenanigans all over the channel. There are links in various places, like up here and down in the description box. Be sure to check out my SciFi because the end is near and pre-orders are going to be coming in terms of Amazon pre-orders, not just my pre-orders on my website. So stay tuned for that as well. Be sure to like up this video and subscribe if you want to see more bullshit from me. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and of course, if there's anything I need to be trying out right now, feel free to let me know down below. And I will see you next time.